The Seattle Ferry Terminal, also known as Colman Dock, is Washington State Ferry's largest ferry terminal and supports transportation across Puget Sound, between downtown Seattle and communities in King County, Kitsap County, and the Olympic Peninsula. The flagship terminal serves multiple modes, including general and commercial purpose traffic, high-occupancy vehicles, transit, bicyclists, and pedestrians. More than 8.5 million riders used the Seattle Ferry Terminal in 2013, including 4.4 million foot passengers. What's the situation today? First, parts of the Colman Dock Ferry Terminal are deteriorating and seismically deficient and need to be replaced. In the area shaded blue, both the dock and terminal building are built on top of timber piles. Many parts of the timber trestle are from its original construction back in 1938. Second, the layout of today's facility results in multiple conflicts between vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrian traffic. So, as you can see, major work is needed to keep this transportation hub operating into the future. Washington State Ferries, in partnership with the Federal Transit Administration and Federal Highway Administration, are proposing a project to preserve Colman Dock. The project focuses on improving safety and mobility. Key elements include replacing the timber portion of the dock with a new and reconfigured steel and concrete dock, replacing the vehicle transfer span and overhead loading structures, replacing the passenger-only facility with funding to be provided by King County, replacing the main terminal building, improving pedestrian spaces and connections to transit. Due to limited funding, the plans reduce concession space while providing an option in the future for additional vendor spaces based on available funding. Colman Dock would include new features. The new main terminal building will be oriented in a north-south direction. This means faster loading times for walk-on customers, more efficient passenger circulation through the terminal, and expanded public views of the water. A new entry building would be located next to Alaskan Way, which would separate ticket purchasing from the waiting area. Wider walkways would improve pedestrian connections and views. Our design would integrate with the City of Seattle's waterfront plans, and the main terminal building would be designed to meet LEED Silver standards. Construction at Colman Dock is expected to begin in late 2016 and take place over 5 years in order to allow Washington State Ferries to continue providing ferry service throughout construction. At this time, we are in the period of environmental analysis and preliminary engineering. Many efforts are underway and planned for Seattle's waterfront. The Washington State Department of Transportation has been working closely with the City of Seattle and King County to coordinate design, maintenance of traffic, and construction schedules for the Alaskan Way Viaduct, Seawall Project, waterfront program, and transit planning efforts. As part of the environmental review process, we have developed an environmental assessment to evaluate the potential effects of the project on the natural and built environment. This step follows public and agency scoping, which occurred in 2012, where we collected input from agencies, tribes, and the public about what should be considered as part of our analysis. During scoping, the majority of comments requested the project include a replacement passenger-only facility, which is now a component of the project. The environmental assessment was published on April 14, 2014, and everyone is invited to provide comments during a 30-day comment period that extends through May 12, 2014. The environmental assessment analyzed natural and built elements of the environment that may be affected by the proposed project, both during and after construction. These include ecosystems, noise and vibration, water resources, and many others. Overall, the project's long-term effects would be minimal. Beneficial effects for customers include overall safety improvements, Americans with Disabilities Act compliance, and elimination of pedestrian vehicle conflict points. The project would also provide numerous environmental improvements. These include removing creosote-treated timber piles, decking, and other contaminated materials, opening up 150 feet of new shoreline, placing a cap over remaining contamination, and designing features to treat stormwater. The project's adverse effects would be primarily due to construction, which, in order to maintain ferry service and comply with environmental regulations, would be phased over several years. Much of the construction will happen from barges in the water, which allows us to maintain operations and limit transportation impacts on Alaskan Way. The project also adds about 5,200 square feet of new overwater coverage. We will mitigate for this increase by restoring equivalent ecological functions in Elliott Bay or elsewhere in the Puget Sound. You can learn more about the full analysis of our initial plans to phase construction by visiting the project website to download a copy of the environmental assessment. We invite the public to review the latest environmental document and provide comments, which we will accept through May 12, 2014. You can provide comments in a number of ways. Attend a public meeting or information session in April and May. Visit our project website. Send an email to colmandockeat@wsdot.wa.gov. Call 206-805-2866 or send mail to Washington State Ferries, attention Marcia Tolan, 2901 3rd Avenue, Suite 500, Seattle, Washington, 98121. The agencies will consider all comments before making a final decision on next steps for the project.